How is everybody doing? Happy Friday. I am going to go live right now, and then I'm probably going to go live here about 2 o'clock with my friend Baz from the Raisin Bread Talk podcast. Excuse my right eye. This is my right eye. My allergies are crazy. I think somebody was mowing the lawn when I was just working out. I just got done with like a good 30 minutes of nonstop, like literally like no rest in between sets. Suspension system and dumbbell work. I feel phenomenal lately. My wife has just got me so honed in. It's crazy. No binges in 2 years, 5 months, 27 days. I can't even believe it. Like if you would have like thought, if I would have like even thought that before when I first started trying to avoid binging, I would have never thought I would have been able to go that long. I feel phenomenal, very in control. But I treat it like it's alcoholism, so I stay in control. We do have coaching, so please do. I'll be sharing that link later. Please do check that out. We help people with their lifestyle habits, especially if you have binge eating disorder, which a huge portion of society does have binge eating disorder. I know that we don't want to accept that. Like we have the mainstream media, social media, just wants to portray that the only actual eating disorders are restrictive eating disorders, when in fact we are fat as fuck as a population, like just so fat. Like so fat as a population. We've got to be, by waist to height ratio, I bet you we're at 60% obesity, at least. It's just tragic because even a lot of people that would be considered at like a healthy weight or just a little overweight are obese by visceral fat. And one of the key factors that causes people to actually get visceral fat is the ingestion of ultra-processed carbohydrates. Today, I'm going to go over multiple facets of what I think is a very scary and telling issue for everybody. And that is that the United States federal government wants you sick, fat, weak, and dependent upon pharma. And I mean, you can lead yourself to your own conclusions by this, but I'm pretty much going to say that this looks very much like they're ignoring very unhealthy things to try to push a certain agenda. And I'm just going to get to it, and then we will do hi to everybody. By the way, I normally say hi to everybody in the chat. I'm going to start changing up a little bit. I'll say hi after I'm done with the main thing when we start doing Q&A. So if you stick around to Q&A, I'll say hi. But this is like I almost like had to sit back and really make sure that this wasn't like a troll website impersonating the United States Department of Agriculture. Because I'm kind of flabbergasted by this. The USDA, the CDC, the NIH should all just be the FDA. We should just get rid of them and start scratch. We need kind of one organization from the government to assure that corporations are putting the foods in products that they claim they're putting in products, and to inform the people as to what those things then do. The USDA, in this article that I'm about to read to you, pretty much completely looks past how horrible ultra-processed foods are that we literally know how bad these foods are for us. This article, I can't believe it. I can't believe this is a real article from the US. It is on, just so everybody understands, that is the USDA.government website. This is the Agricultural Research Service, U.S. Department of Agriculture website. This is from July 11th of 2023. This is the other day. And it says, scientists build a healthy dietary pattern using ultra-processed foods. I am going to go ahead and say that I will debate any scientist that that's not possible, because ultra-processed foods literally, by definition, are known to be deleterious to your health. We know that ingesting them at a high portion, I believe the study was from Brazil was over 20%, over a course of period of 6 to 10 years. And I talk about this fairly often, literally has a effect of increasing the rate of cognitive decline by 28% and executive function decline by 25%. Executive function decline is things like perseverance, accountability, self-starting, maturity, problem solving. It makes you stupid. And here we have a taxpayer funded and corporate funded, because of they take money from corporations, as obvious, it's very clear, organization putting out to people that they, one, spent money to try to find if they could do this, and two, they have skewed the idea of what is a healthy dietary pattern so much that it is tragic. This is a recipe for a mass culling of the US population in 10 to 15 years, 15 to 20 years probably. Scientists at the USDA Agricultural Research Services Grand Forks Human Nutrition Center Research Center led a study. So this was done by the USDA. We didn't, like, the USDA is not trying to get us away from ultra-processed foods. This is a study to find out how they could encourage people to eat more of them. That demonstrates it is possible to build a healthy diet with 91% of the calories coming from ultra-processed foods as classified by the Novus scale. In case you guys are wondering, the Novus scale is Nova Groups for Food Processing, a classification of 4 groups to highlight the degree of processing of food. So group 1 is unprocessed or minimally processed food. Unprocessed or natural foods are edible parts of plants, seeds, fruits, leaves, stems, roots, or of animals, mussels, offal, eggs, and milk. And also fungi, algae, water after separation from nature. Minimally processed foods are natural foods altered by processing. Processes that include removing of inedible or unwanted parts, drying, crushing, grinding, fractioning, filtering, roasting, boiling, non-alcoholic fermentation, pasteurization, refrigeration, chilling, freezing, placing in containers and vacuum packing. These processes are designed to preserve natural foods, to make them suitable for storage, or to make them safe and edible, and more pleasant to consume. Many unprocessed or minimally processed foods are prepared and cooked at home or in restaurant kitchens in combination with processed culinary ingredients. Now, the second category is processed culinary ingredients. Processed culinary ingredients are such as oils, butters, sugars, and salts, are substances derived from group 1 foods or from nature by processing, and includes pressing, refining, grinding, milling, and drying. The purpose of such processes is to make durable products that are suitable for use in home and restaurant kitchens, to prepare, season, and cook food groups 1, to make them a variety of enjoyable handful made dishes and meals, such as stews, soups, broths, and salads, breads, preservatives, drinks, and desserts. They are not meant to be consumed by themselves and are normally used in combination with group 1 foods to make them freshly prepared drinks, dishes, and meals. So basically salts, seasonings, those sorts of things is processed culinary ingredients. Processed foods such as bottled vegetables, canned fish, fruits in syrup, cheeses, and freshly made breads are made essentially by adding salt, oil, sugar, or other substances to group 2, from group 2 to group 1. So when you take stuff like from group 1 and add it to group 2, you come up with processed foods, right? Processed foods include various preservations and cooking methods, and in the cases of breads and cheese, non-alcoholic fermentation. Most processed foods have 2 or 3 ingredients and are recognizable as modified versions of group 1 foods. They are edible by themselves or more, usually in combination with other foods. The purpose of processing here is to increase the durability of group 1 foods, or to modify, enhance, or their sensory quality. I would personally not consider breads in a processed food. I would consider almost all breads ultra-processed foods because of what needs to get done to the flour, unless you are taking your actual wheat germ yourself or your wheat berries and grinding them in the flour yourself, or you're using oat flour, those sorts of things. That's me personally, but we're using their things to go by this. So ultra-processed foods such as soft drinks, sweet and savory packed snacks, reconstituted meat products, and pre-prepared frozen dishes are not modified foods, but formulations made mostly or entirely from substances derived from foods and additives, with little, if any, intact group 1 foods. So very little actual fucking food is what we're talking about. Ingredients of these formulations usually include those also used in processed foods such as sugars, oils, fats, and salts, but ultra-processed products also include other sources of energy or nutrients not normally used in culinary preparation. Some of these are directly extracted from foods such as casein, lactose, whey, and gluten. Many are derived from further processing of food constitutes such as hydrogenated and interestified oils, hydrolyzed proteins, soya protein, isolate, maltodextrin, invert sugar, and high fructose corn syrup. Additives in ultra-processed foods include some also used in processing foods such as preservatives, antioxidants, and stabilizers. Classes of additives found only in ultra-processed foods include those used to innate or enhance the sensory qualities of foods or to disguise unpalatable aspects of the final product. So it's unpalatable unless they add a chemical to it, basically. These additives include dyes and other colors, color stabilizers, flavors, flavor enhancers, non-sugar sweeteners, and process aids such as carbonated firming, bulking, and anti-bulking, defoaming, anti-caking, and glazing agents, emulsifiers, sequestrants, and humectants. A multitude of sequence of processes is used to combine the usual many ingredients and to create the final product, hence ultra-processed. The processing includes several with non-domestic equivalents such as hydrogenization or hydrolyzation, hydrolysation, extrusion, and molding, and a pre-processing for frying. The overall purpose of ultra-processed foods is to create branded, convenient, durable, ready-to-consume, attractive, hyper-palatable, and highly profitable, low-cost ingredient foods products designed to displace all other groups. Ultra-processed food products are usually packaged attractively and marketed intensively. So that is the actual definition of the ultra-processed foods that is used for this study done by the USDA. While still following the recommendations from the 2020 to 2025 dietary guidelines for Americans, the DGA, the study highlights the versatility of using DGA recommendations in constructing health menus. Now, I could do a whole video on how ridiculous the DGA is, especially because on the board of the DGA, you have one of the doctors that is a paid spokesperson for Novo Nordisk, which sells Ozempic and Wegovy. She was the lady that did the 60-minute advertisement. She's on the board for this, which is complete conflict of interest because she wants people to be fat, so therefore the company that pays her can make more money from people being fat. It's just incredible to me that this is a real thing. Not to mention that the DGA, like the recommended daily allowance for like vitamin D is massively low. Like will keep a person immunosuppressed if that's all the vitamin D you get in a day. Kind of crazy, especially when you consider that people almost don't go out into the sun at all anymore. And when they do go out into the sun, they cover themselves in carcinogenic oil called sunscreen, because if you don't think that suntan oil causes cancer, you're pretty fucking stupid up to this point. Look it the fuck up, people. Do your goddamn research. If you don't want to believe me, don't. Do your research. I say this all the time. This is not even me. This is not even me like doing anything but reading from the USDA at this point in time. Just, you can hate me all you want, but this is a showing of how the USDA knows these people are smart people. They know that these food products, they're not even food, these food products are bad for you. Somebody said just oil or sunscreen. Sunscreen is carcinogenic. It has endocrine blockers and carcinogens in it. I use castor oil and olive oil. That's it. That's it. You guys may not remember, like, I don't know if you guys look back. I had this thing on my nose for a while. That was where it was actually turning to skin cancer. I've been using, Crystal put this mix together of castor oil and olive oil, and I've been using it on my face every single day. One, like the fine lines are starting to go away. Not that I'm going to look younger. I'm an old motherfucker. I'm about to turn 52 years old. But that went away. There's not even a rough spot anymore. And I was actually getting worried that it was cancer. Gone, completely gone. So, I mean, nature provides, people. Like, nature provides. Anyway, I'll do a whole other thing about that. The study is a proof of concept that shows a more balanced view of healthy eating pattern where using ultra-processed foods can be an option, said ARS researcher nutritionist Julie Hess at the Grand Forks Human Nutritional Research Center. According to current dietary recommendations, the nutrient content of food and its place in the food groups are more important than the extent of which food was processed. There's no, we're about to talk about a bunch of different studies that say that that is complete bullshit, that is complete bullshit. In the study, scientists used the Nova Scale to determine which foods to classify as ultra-processed. The Nova Scale first appeared in literature in 2009 and is the most commonly used scale in the nutritional science to classify foods to the degree of processing. According to the Nova Scale, foods which can be classified into 4 groups, blah, blah, blah. We already went over this. We already did this. To test if ultra-processed foods can be used to build a healthy diet, ARS scientists and collaborators created a menu with breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks, which, by the way, the vast majority of people in America don't need breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. The vast majority of the people in America do not have the caloric output to justify breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, unless those portion sizes are very, very, very small. Using my pyramid, which is just as the food pyramid, I mean, these are the people that brought you the food pyramid. The USDA does not want you to be fucking healthy. I will debate any fucking body. 11 servings of grains a day. It's ridiculous. The average American, especially, is on their feet for less than 2 hours a fucking day. They cannot possibly justify eating that much food, 2,000 calories a day. The average American male should likely take in about 1,700 calories. The average American female should take in likely about 1,400 to 1,500 calories at maximum. And everybody's like, oh my God, that's not enough food. If you're an adult female is likely supposed to weigh at 5'3.5" inches tall at the average height, it's supposed to weigh between like 110 to 135 pounds. Multiply 135 by 10, and you have 1,350 calories. Add 0.1 for your sedentary ass lifestyle, and you're at 1,500 calories. That's the maximum you should likely fucking take in as an adult female. And this is like, if you are a very seriously active adult as a female, maybe 1,800, but anything more than 1,800. I know women with healthy waist to height ratios that work out for 2 hours a day because they are in either some sort of professional sport or that they are competing for figure competitions, whatever, that they literally bulk on 1,800 calories a day. Bulk. Yet now we have tons of people eating so much, and everybody's like, well, 2,000 calories is the pattern. Most fucking dudes are so fucking lazy and have such low muscle mass that 2,000 calories is going to end them up at like 200 fucking pounds of Homer Simpson looking blob. Real deal. That's reality. But anyway, I digress. The menu consists of foods categorized as ultra-processed by at least 2 NOVA graders. The foods included in the menu are also aligned with the 2020 DGA recommendations for servings of groups and subgroups of fruit, vegetables, grains, protein foods, and dairy. Protein foods, you mean? Scientists selected food products, at least they're calling them food products, that have lower levels. It's a food product. Just eat food. Just go on the food diet. Just eat fucking food. Don't eat fucking processed food. Don't eat food products. If you want to lose fucking weight and be healthy, just eat fucking food. It's a food diet. You don't even need to fucking go any farther than fucking food diet. If it doesn't grow from the fucking ground, if it doesn't fucking come from a goddamn animal, like in 2 steps, don't fucking eat it if you want to lose weight. Fucking goddamn, motherfuckers. This is not difficult. But the U.S. Department of Agriculture is telling you not to fucking eat this way. They're telling you can be healthy with 91% ultra-processed foods. You are going to be stupid as fuck in about 6 years. No shit, you're going to have inflammation, osteoarthritis, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and be dumb as fuck. You're ridiculous. Some of the ultra-processed foods used in this menu include canned beans, instant oatmeal, ultra-filtered milk, whole wheat bread, and dried fruit. All with tons of fucking extra products. That's some of them, by the way. They're not listing off the others. We use the Healthy Eating Index. The Healthy Eating Index. Hang on a second. This is the young lady, by the way. This is Julie Hess. She doesn't look like she's super fucking healthy to me to begin with either. But she is, I'm sure, being paid by all sorts of other people. I'm sure all sorts of other people. Anyway, here we go. The menu was developed score of 86 out of 100 points on the Healthy Eating Index of 2015. It cannot be healthy eating when it is predominantly ultra-processed foods. And I'm going to go into studies to show why. I would gladly do this live with Miss Hess herself and make the PhD look like a fucking dumb fuck. Ridiculous. So, by the way, this is the Nova scale again. This is consumption of ultra-processed foods and body fat distribution among U.S. adults. This is the association between ultra-processed food consumption and body composition, and this is from 2023, March. So just a few months ago. The association between ultra-processed food consumption and body composition and potential variations of socio-demographic factors is unclear. The study aims to examine the cross-section associations of ultra-processed food consumption with imaging markers and body fat distribution in a nationally represented sample of United States adults overall and by socio-demographic strata. A total of 9,640 men and non-pregnant women aged 20 to 59 years were included from 4 cycles, 2011 to 20, you see them, of a National Health and Nutritional Examination Survey with valid 24-hour dietary recall and available whole-body dual nutrition X-ray absorption scans. Ultra-processed foods were identified using the NOVA scale, the NOVA classification scale, which we just went over, with percentage energy from ultra-processed foods assessed in quintiles. Primary outcomes were absolute percentage fat, total, androidal, and gynoid. Androidal is visceral fat, basically upper body fat, and gynoidal is how most women carry fat in their hips and legs, their hips, butts, and leg, right? Although when people get super morbidly obese, they carry both gynoidal and android fat, and they look very similar. Like it's very hard to tell. Like you could take a 450-pound male and have them stand there naked, and Tess Holliday and have her 450 pounds stand naked, and it would be hard to tell the difference. It's just fucking truth. People can be pissed about that, but you know I'm fucking right. And secondary ones were percentage fat, head, arm, legs, and trunk. Total abdominal fat, area, mass, volume. Subcutaneous adipose tissue, areas, mass, and volume. And visceral adipose tissue, area, mass, and volume. Multivariate adjusted generalizations, linear regression estimates, independent relationships of ultra-processed food intake with body composition overall and by socio-demographic subgroups. And analysis were conducted in September 2022 and January 2023. Ultra-processed food consumption accounted for more than half, 55.5% of daily energy consumption in this sample, which is fucking tragic, you fucking lazy pieces of shit. Cook a piece of steak, bake a goddamn potato, make some fucking green beans. Goddamn, you lazy pieces of shit. Adults in the highest quintile, 72.1% of energy. So this is people not even eating the 91% that the USDA has just been recommending can be healthy. But this is 72.1% energy, had a 1.6 higher total fat percentage, a 95 CI 0.9, 2.2, and a 2.08 higher androidal fat percentage. Again, that is the trunk body fat, and 1.32 higher, to 2.8. That means they have twice the amount of fucking upper body fat. That's fucking crazy. 1.32 higher gynoidal fat percentage than those of the lowest quintile of ultra-processed food consumptions, less than 39.4, which is still high as fuck. That's still high as fuck. That's still super fucking high. That still puts you as stupid as fucking 10 years. Consistent findings were observed in secondary outcomes, association of ultra-processed food intake with total percentage fat, androidal percentage fat, and gynoidal percentage fat varied by age, sex, race, and ethnicity, education, and income. Among those in the highest quintile of ultra-processed food consumption, compared with the lowest quintile counterpart, the total percentage of fat 1.85 higher than non-Hispanic adult white adults, and 1.57 higher for Hispanic adults, whereas no difference was observed among non-Hispanic Black adults and non-Hispanic Asian adults. Associated patterns were similar for androidal fat percentage and gynoidal fat. Conclusion: In a national U.S. sample, higher intake of ultra-processed foods was associated with greater body fat, in particular androidal fat, which is, again, visceral fat. And this relationship was most prominent in certain population subgroups. These cross-sectional findings call for prospective and interventional studies to assess the impact of ultra-processed foods and body composition. That's just one. Now we're going to go to Frontiers. Frontiers has intake of ultra-processed foods and ectopic, visceral, and other fat deposits, a cross-sectional study. The purpose of this study was to investigate the association between intake of ultra-processed foods, UPF, and liver fat, pancreas fat, and visceral fat, adipose tissue, but also subcutaneous adipose tissue, VAT, visceral fat, and subcutaneous fat ratio, and total fat mass. The cross-sectional study analysis in N286 50-year-old men and women energy percentage from UPF was calculated from a semi-quantitative food frequency questionnaire. Food items were categorized according to the NOVA classification, once again, and fat deposits were assessed using magnetic resonance imaging. So they've got MRIs on these motherfuckers, and bioelectric impedance, which bioelectric impedance associations were analyzed using linear regression, adjustable for sex, education, physical activity, smoking, dietary factors, and BMI. The results: mean take of UPF was 37.8, which is still fucking crazy ass fucking high, you fucking weak ass people. And three largest contributors to this were crisps, whole grain breads, and spreads, indicating overall health choices. Consumption of UPF was associated with higher intake of energy, carbohydrates, and fiber, and lower intake of protein and polyunsaturated fat, but no difference were observed in total fat, saturated fats, monosaturated fat, sugar, and alcohol between tertiles of UPF. Intake of UPF was positively associated with liver and pancreas fat, visceral fat, and visceral to subcutaneous fat, and inversely associated with total fat mass in crude models. The association for visceral fat remained after full adjustment and was driven by women. So in other words, ultra-processed foods is even harder on women for your visceral fat development. That's why I always say, if you want to get rid of your belly, stop eating ultra-processed foods, stop eating sugar, stop eating processed, like if you're going to eat bread, make sure you bake it from yourself. Conclusion: energy intake from ultra-processed foods is not associated with ectopic fat, saturated subcutaneous fat, or total fat after adjustments of multicolor. However, a positive association between ultra-processed foods and visceral fat was observed, which was driven by women. This is high consumption of ultra-processed foods associated with increase of body fat, particularly in the abdomen. In a recent study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, researchers, this is from March of 2023, researchers evaluated the effects of ultra-processed food consumption and distribution of body fat amongst United States adults. UPFs are extensively consumed by ultra-processed residents, contributed to over 50% of the daily calories consumed. UPFs are rich in salt, refined sugar, and starch, and have poor nutritional values, lacking healthy components. Diets are with high ultra-processed foods have been seen also to relate to increased weight, type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. But the USDA is telling you that they can make a healthy diet of 91% ultra-processed foods, even though they are absolutely associated with increased rates of weight, obesity, visceral fat obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. Previous studies on UPFs have been conducted using body mass index values and waist circumference to assess obesity. However, these measures are affected by body size, muscle mass, ethnicity, and socioeconomic factors. Body fat distribution appears to be more specific in estimating disease risk. However, the relationship between UPF intake and distribution of body fat was well known. I believe this is actually the same study. Yes, it's actually the same study. Boom. So we're going to go to this next one. This one is ultra-processed food intake and obesity. What really matters for health, process, or nutrient content. So the purpose is the aim of this narrative is of this narrative review was to summarize and critique recent evidence evaluating the association between ultra-processed food intakes and obesity. Recent findings: 4 of 5 studies found the higher purchases or consumptions of ultra-processed food was associated with overweight obesity. Additional studies reported relationship between ultra-processed food intake and higher fasting glucose metabolic syndrome, increase in total and LDL cholesterol, and risk of hypertension. It remains unclear whether association can be attributed to processing itself or the nutrient content of ultra-processed foods. Only 3 of the 9 studies used in prospective design and the potential for residual confounding was high. The summary: recent research provides fairly consistent support for the association of ultra-processed foods intakes with obesity and related cardiometabolic outcomes. There is a clear need for further study, particularly those using longitudinal design, and with sufficient control for confounding to potential confirm these findings in different populations and to determine whether ultra-processed food consumption in association with obesity independent of nutrient content. Ultra-processed food, including frozen pizzas and fizzy drinks, now makes up more than 60% of the calories consumed by British children, including the risk of obesity in adulthood. And this is from 2021. So I'm guaranteeing you this shit got a lot motherfucking worse. This is a very serious problem because we're going to go back here and now we see that instead of addressing the actual issue that we know that ultra-processed foods are leading to more cancer, type 2 diabetes, visceral fat obesity, dementia. We know that it causes cognitive decline, executive function decline. These are literally been studied over and over and over again in repeatable studies. Instead of in any way challenging those results, they are just trying to say that this is healthy to eat not just the 55 to 60% that they've been talking about, which is massively unhealthy shit. The cognitive function decline and executive function decline studies was done with 20% ultra-processed foods, just 20%. And it showed an increased cognitive decline of 28% over 6 to 10 years, and an increased executive function decline over 6 to 10 years of 25%. But they are trying to say that 91% ultra-processed foods, they can build you a healthy diet. I would challenge them to a debate anytime, any single time. We could literally just use what I just read off to destroy them. The USDA wants you sick, fat, and addicted to pharma. They want you weak and pliable. They want you buying the big food products instead of the small farm products. They want you buying stuff that has to be packaged, shipped. They want you consuming things that are worse for the environment due to the packaging, production, those sorts of things. This is insanity. This is a pharmaceutically based model for healthcare from the NIH, the CDC, and the FDA, and a ultra-processed food-based model of eating to get you sick, fat, and in need of pharmaceuticals and healthcare by the USDA. Wake the fuck up, people. Get there faster. This is, I'm sorry, but that's insanity. That is completely insane. They are trying to convince you that being fat is not unhealthy. They are trying to convince you that ultra-processed foods can be healthy, even eaten when it's almost the entirety of your motherfucking nutritional intake, when they know it's not. When they know it is not. The USDA and the FDA have just approved fake meat, lab-grown meat. They have no long-term studies on this. They have no idea how it's going to affect people at all. And they're trying to say you don't even need to label that shit. That's fucking crazy. That is insanity. It's completely nuts. What the fuck is wrong with society? If there was going to be protests about anything, there should be protests about this shit. They are making us sick. Our federal government is making us sick. They are literally guiding the American populace into poverty, disease, early death, and dependence, slavery to the pharmaceutical industry by enhancing and filling the pockets of the big food, ultra-processed food industry. I will argue this with anybody at any given time. People wonder why I don't do all the comedy videos anymore. There's nothing funny about this shit. There's nothing. We are fat as fuck as a population. We are so fucking fat. We are so fucking sickly. We are literally 60% of Americans are on at least one daily pharmaceutical to function, to be able to fucking function. And they're advertising not to eat more ultra-processed foods. It is time to remove them all. It is time to remove them. It is time to get rid of the USDA. We're not going to be able to we're not going to be able to reform the USDA or reform the FDA or reform the CDC or reform the FBI or CIA. It is time we dismantled all these government agencies, started fresh, and went with no lobbying and just thus like what we know is healthy. Let's go back to supporting local farms. Like, you should not be getting your fucking peppers from California when you live in fucking Florida. You should be getting your peppers from fucking Florida. Like, yet, but I literally fucking know people. Like, it's insane. It's just so fucking crazy. It's so fucking crazy. I don't even know. They want you packed up and put on the conveyor belt of sickness and death. That is literally it. That is literally it. I've got 16 baby chicks in my spare room right now, so I can provide my own eggs to me and my family. My birthday present, like early birthday present for my wife, is tomorrow. I'm taking a little seminar on how to dispatch, butcher down, and preserve and use rabbit. That's literally like that's one of my birthday presents that I'm so excited about. We leave later on today, and then we're going to this homesteading farm, and they run this seminar where we're going to go. And I'm a pretty good butcher already, but we're going to go through this whole thing. I'm excited about. I know that's the plan, because this cannot be trusted. It cannot be trusted. It's also cheaper to make food from scratch. It absolutely is. Absolutely. Aldi's has a great sale on ground-fed beef, so I loaded up. That's good for you. Alan, your B-Day present is awesome. I'm jealous. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. All right, guys. I'll do some Q&A about this or any other topic that you guys want. I am going to be live. I'm going to be calling it a day here in about 15 minutes, because then I got to set up, and me and Baz are going to talk about the week in review. And then I'm going to get going. I got some prep I got to do. I got to sharpen my knives for tomorrow. I'm very excited. Then we're going to get ready and we're going to go. Crystal and I are going to have a nice dinner someplace out, probably a steak. I am doing very well on my training. For those of you guys wondering, I am No Morbidity Alchemy in. I haven't been taking Yohimbine. I've just been forgetting. I'm going to take it here. I took Mental Jewels today earlier, Vasky, and my creatine. I am going to be taking Hydroglyph here in a little bit, because I just got done working out and I do feel I need to get my my electrolytes up. I am also going to take a little pinch of Celtic salt today. I'm starting to do that too. Crystal's got me going. So fucking healthy. Feels so fucking good. I managed to live off $40 a week. I'm telling you, the idea is for Crystal and I to be able to fucking live off $0 a fucking week from the grocery store within the next couple years at fucking max. I want to grow and raise my own food, because I don't trust none of these motherfuckers at all. I buy my meat from a local butcher if I can, or I buy ground turkey chicken. Good for you. Good for you. Hunting, fishing, and growing should be the most popular method of eating. I don't know how we have evolved so far away. Like, why aren't there fruit trees in every fucking yard? Like, trees just for aesthetic. Why do we even have them? Like, why would every yard not have fruit trees in them? Why not? If they're going to be using nutrients from the ground, why not have them produce fruit and food? I don't understand. I wish I could bring myself to butcher, but I love to raise because I love to raise my own meat. But I'm a big baby. The world's about to get really fucking tough for a lot of people. So get yourself ready. Still waiting on Alchemy. I'm checking daily. Alchemy will be out at the beginning of August. First or second week of August. We are literally in we're in third-party testing right now. So what happens is we get third-party testing of our bulk ingredients from our vendors, and then we encapsulate, and then after the capsulation, we have random bottles taken and third-party tested again to make sure that what we say is in the bottle, that we sell you, is in the bottle. So I'm very excited for it. Do you take beta-alanine? No, I don't. I don't. I take creatine every day because it does help with my performance and it helps volumize me a little bit, but that's about it. Loving Hydroglyph. I have nectar in the fridge now to drink at work. I love the honey lemon nectar. Honey lemon nectar is just awesome. Question, day 19 of No Morbidity. I feel better and it's easier to hit my calorie goal, but no movement on the scale yet. Would be grateful for advice. Water intake way up, although I'm not quite 1 ounce per pound of body mass. I would start sitting down. Here's one of the things you can do. Sit down at your largest meal. Eat 75% of it, stop, drink 20 ounces of fluid, wait 20 minutes, see if you're still hungry. If you're not, put that food up. If you get hungry later, you eat that food instead of a snack. Or if you don't get hungry, that's just the calories you save. Because right now what's happening is you're probably still eating the same portion sizes just from habit and memory of what goes up, like the amount of stuff that goes on a plate. But if you're not losing weight, you're not in a caloric deficit. So now I don't know about your activity or anything like that, but if you still have trouble, if you have trouble from there, we do have coaching. I'm actually going to share the link for the coaching right here. Here's the app, and here's a 3-month and 6-month package for our coaching. The 3-month and 6-month packages are about to be full. We're just going to be going month to month here soon. So I would take advantage if you want a deal on those, because they are about to be full. The 1-year slots are all full. Here you go. And by the way, there's where you get no morbidity too. Excellent. Alan, what are the benefits of Celtic salt? It's got like 82 different minerals in it. And I'm a big believer, like especially, it helps, like if you don't have any micronutrient or macronutrient holes, like some micronutrients are minerals, vitamins, those sorts of things. If your body has plenty of those, it won't be searching out food. It helps avoid cravings. We have pea trees. The bees love them. That's outstanding because we need more bees. That's my goal, Alan. I don't trust restaurants and grocery stores anymore, especially since apparently they can now sell lab-grown meat. I know, it's crazy. Recommended dose of berberine until alchemy comes out. The recommended dose is 1,500 milligrams a day, but you can use HCl, and HCl has a 5-to-1 ratio, so 300 milligrams a day, or 200 milligrams a day. HCl is a 200 milligrams a day, and I think it might be 1,000. Hang on. What the fuck am I doing? So yeah, it's 1,000 milligrams a day will help you. I saw the Ambrosia Collective have a 90 count of no morbidity on sale for $40 yesterday. I'm contemplating it hard. That's our normal price. Our normal price is $39.99 for no morbidity, and 90 count is a month's supply. So you can also get, I'm sure use the code capital M, capital F, ING, capital C, capital O, and it gives you 5% off your entire order from Ambrosia Collective. So you'll save a little bit of money there. So 5% off right there. Now it's at $38. But also, if you buy in bulk, if you buy 3 months at a time, it's probably going to be down to like $34 per. So take advantage. Rep and Time Fitness, what's going on? Family, I work for our big hunters fishers, so I do get quite a bit of wild protein from them. That's good. That's good. Let's see. Any questions, guys? Outstanding. Lots of people. Alan, before being the angry bald man, you're a human who cares for other humans. I'm grateful to have found people like you. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Do you plan on getting FDA approval for NOMO? No. Why? First of all, I don't trust the fucking FDA. Secondly, it is. I mean, we do have we have their approval for distribution, but like to have it like they're as a food product, it's approved. It's not going to be approved as a drug because it's not a drug. It's natural medicine. That's what it is. But no, I don't fuck the FDA. And we have it's patented ingredients. So in order for it to be patented ingredients, you need to be able to prove your claims. So therefore, like I can say, no morbidity absolutely reduces waist circumference. No morbidity absolutely reduces hunger. No morbidity absolutely helps you lose more body fat percentage than lean mass percentage than without it when you lose weight and you're in a caloric deficit. I can say these things because I can make these claims because they're patented ingredients that have gone through the rigorous, they've already gone through the patenting portion of it. So no need. Yep, same thing going on. Things are not going to get better. No, they're not. People need to fucking take control of this for real. In June, the Nordic countries published a new national nutrient recommendations in the dietary guidelines. They caution against processed foods and promote whole food. That's awesome. That's what we should do too. This diet seems like such a waste of time and resources. It should be 91% whole. It should be the absolute opposite. Yep. Thank you for your advice earlier in the week. I have doubled my water intake and have been doing much better. That's outstanding. Good for you. USA is so backwards in comparison to other countries' guidelines. I know, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. I was just diagnosed with prediabetes last week. I'm down 3 pounds already, and I'm serious about getting this under control. Azalea, we have our coaching. You could take advantage. We have helped many people come off their diabetes medications. We have helped many people beat sugar addiction, those sorts of things. Please do help out, or please do check it out. Help out. I have hydroglyph and I love it. I was curious about the ingredients and looked and noticed that it's sucralose in it. Isn't that Splenda? I believe it is. I try to keep. That's why I try to keep it to a minimum. I love it, like no morbidity and nectar and hydroglyph, so much energy. That's awesome. The FDA doesn't approve supplements like that. Nope. And no morbidity. Yeah, no morbidity is third-party tested anyway. All of our stuff is. Oh, the FDA will try. They're going to try to get rid of supplements eventually. You watch. Thoughts on FDA preventing sale of supplements such as NMN? All about myths about the money. Yeah. Make America healthy again. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ha! 2 weeks on Nomo and I'm having trouble keeping my jeans up. That's what I'm talking about, people. That's what I'm talking about. All right, listen. I am going to set up my live with Baz. We will be live to just do some commentary on the last couple of weeks of crazy shit that's happened. So it'll be more along the lines of not fitness stuff. It'll be more on the lines of me just talking shit. So please let me know. I hope to see all you there, but I got to get running. God damn.